Ever since the Charlotte Hornets have gotten Lamelo Ball, they've never made the playoffs, which is so surprising. And ever since 2016, the Charlotte Hornets have never made the playoffs. And even when they did in 2016, they were a first round exit. And in today's video, I will be giving Lamelo Ball a 99 overall to see if he could carry his team to an NBA championship. Overall, I'm going to give myself one trade to make just to make it easier for him. But other than that, I can't really change. And as you can see, Lamelo Ball is now a 99 overall in NBA 2K26 because I did it myself. But he has a lot of 99 stats and an A+ potential. And now it's time to sim to see if he could do the end goal of winning this team a championship. But we're starting the season as it is right now. So they are 14 and 25. So one of the worst teams in the league. I'm not expecting much besides making the playoffs after making Lamelo Ball a 99 overall. And after making Lamelo a 99 overall, he was able to lead this under 500 Charlotte Hornets team to the 7th seed. And he also got an All-NBA first team, which was nice, obviously. He was able to put up almost 27 a game with almost a triple-double. Just needed 2 in each stat for rebounds and assists. But we are the 7th seed, and we're going to lose the first play-in game. But we end up winning the second one against the Bucks, and we are now in the playoffs as the 8th seed. And Lamelo gets a 27-point double-double with 13 assists. Obviously, he's a 99 overall. He should be doing that. And we lose game 1. We lose 2. We take game 3 and 4 with Lamelo leading the way with 33 points. And in that game, he had 22 points with 11 assists. And he's really carrying this team. But Miles Bridges is also doing his part. And he had more rebounds than points in that game, which is interesting. And Miles Bridges is also doing his part, which is nice to see. But we're still tied as the 8th seed, and I do not have hope as we lose game 6 against the New York Knicks, I think in the Garden too. And it's Knicks versus the Thunder, and the Knicks take it like they always do in the simulation. And we're headed to the next season. Let's see if this season is better than the last one, because we're not starting midway. And Lamelo is still a 99, meaning he did not regress, which is a nice sighting. I mean, he is only 25. And it looks like the roster has not changed a lot, which is a good sighting. And we're just going to continue simming till the All-Star break. And already we're winning more games as the Brow wins NBA Cup MVP, and we're at the trade deadline, and Lamelo is doing Lamelo Ball things as he is almost putting up 36, 12, and 9, which is crazy. That's a triple-double almost. And we're just going to continue simming, but we're going to give Lamelo Ball the most minutes as bro has basically 99 everything, so he should be able to lead that squad. And let's see if they could have one of the best records in the league. And yes, they will, as Lamelo Ball gets MVP. Leads the team to 60-win season. First time in their history, honestly. And obviously, after winning the MVP, he deserves All-NBA first team. And he does that as he's the first seed in the playoffs. Let's just check the stats real quick. Almost 37 a game. And he had help from Brandon Miller, also giving 21 a game as we play the Miami Heat in the first round, who we sweep. And in the second round, we also sweep the Chicago Bulls, in which Lamelo put up 31, 44 in that game. Almost a quadruple-double, by the way. I mean, not a quadruple-double, but a 40-20-20 game if he had a few more stats, obviously. And now he is on to the Eastern Conference Finals and playing the New York Knicks, who he should beat. They take game 1 as he scores 47 and 15. And we take game 2 as well as he scores 48, 15, and 12. That's some crazy numbers as he's only 5 for 17 from 3-point line, by the way. They take game 3. And Lamelo, that's just game 1. 37-11 from Lamelo. 34-12 from Lamelo. Just doing Lamelo things, you know what I'm saying. And in that game, he scored, let me just check real quick, 19, 6, and 9. So a little bit of a drop down from the other games, but it doesn't matter as we take game 5, in which Lamelo Ball scores 51 points with 14 assists and 13 rebounds, I believe. And we take game 6, and the Hornets are heading to their first NBA Finals, led by Lamelo's triple-double and playing Cooper Flag in the Dallas Mavericks, in which the Charlotte Hornets lose in game 7. But Lamelo did his part, and that's all that matters, as he almost scored 40 a game in the playoffs. That is crazy. But it does not matter, as Lamelo Ball is unable to lead the Charlotte Hornets to a championship in their second season as a 99 overall. And let's just head on to the second season, as we'll see if there's more final runs to come. And we're headed on to the next season, where the roster basically looks the same. And Con Knipple is up to 89, I think it said. But let's just sim to that trade deadline. And the domination did not continue, as the Charlotte Hornets were starting to lose a lot more games, unlike last season. And they were 30-24 at the trade deadline. And Lamelo was doing his part, but the numbers are down from last year, almost 6 points from last year. So I had to change the game plan. I was giving 45 minutes to Lamelo, so those numbers definitely need to be higher. But ultimately, the whole team also has to step up. Basketball is a team sport, and if you do not have a good team, it's hard to win a championship. Not everybody is 2016, 17, 18 LeBron James. So we're just gonna continue simming and see what happens at the end of the season. And yeah, so we end off the season with 46 wins, but Lamelo was still able to get MVP and All-NBA first team, obviously. But the Charlotte Hornets are not a good seeding, as they are the 5th seed, playing the Knicks again, who they played in the conference finals last year. And we take game 1, I believe, yep. And Lamelo put up 31. No, he put up 27, 17, and 16, so a triple-double with some crazy stats. And they take game 2, in which Lamelo Ball scored 29, 11, and 8, which is obviously good stats. We take game 3. Lamelo scores 46 with a lot of assists and rebounds. We take game 4 as well, and we're up 3-1, so we should take this series, and we do, as the 5th seed, playing the 1st seed Orlando Magic, who have Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner. I don't know if I said that right, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, we lose game 1. Obviously, I feel like we're not going to win the series against the 1st seed, but we take game 2. So let's just see the stats. And Paulo put up 52 and lost there, or maybe that's the first game. That's probably why we lost, but Lamelo wasn't anything special there. Obviously putting up a double-double still, I think. And we're just going to change the game plan, and I'll be back. Alrighty, so let's see what happens. We take game 3, and Lamelo puts up 35, 11, and 6 with really good efficiency. And it's a tie series. Obviously, we were not going to win easily. And Lamelo does his part, but not enough to win. Lamelo puts up 43, 15, and 15 to win, and we're heading on to the second conference finals in a row for Lamelo Ball. So Lamelo Ball is really doing his thing with the Charlotte Hornets after making him a 99 overall. And we're playing the Atlanta Hawks, who are the 2nd seed, and they have a similar team to IRL with Rissa Shea and Jalen Johnson, and they're up 2-0. And they also have Cameron Boozer now, who is an absolute beast in the sim. And we're going to probably lose this series as we are down 3-0. And we get swept in the conference finals. And the Hawks ultimately go on to win the championship. So we're going to be back for that 3rd season, I believe it is, or 4th. Anyways, it is the 4th season, and the roster should look the same. Yep, Con Knipple, Brandon Miller being the big 3 with Lamelo Ball, obviously. So let's see if they could have a better record than last year. Obviously, they were the 5th seed last year, so let's just sim and see what happens at the trade deadline. Anyways, I forgot to give Lamelo Ball an extension, so I was going to do that real quick and just give him the money he needs. Well, the money he wants, I should say. And I was about to give him the whole the whole franchise basically with 65 a year, but I decided let's be smart and just give him 50. I believe I gave him 50.15, and he ended up taking it, as we've been to the conference finals for the past 2 years. So let's just sim and see what happens. We're off to a way better start, a historic start with 19-4. So we'll be back as Luka averages 40 and gets NBA Cup MVP. That is some wild stats. Anyways, our domination continues in this season, as at the trade deadline, we are one of the best teams in the league because Lamelo Ball is putting up 38.4 points per game. And Brandon Miller's numbers are down a bit, only averaging 19. But that does not matter, as we are the first seed at 44-8. And anyways, I'll be back at the end of the regular season. Anyways, we continue winning out, as we have a historic season with Lamelo Ball winning MVP, almost putting up a triple-double. And the Charlotte Hornets were 64-18, as Lamelo Ball also makes an All-NBA first team. And his resume is really looking nice, as he's already stacked up 3 MVPs and a lot of All-Stars already, which is nice. And it was surprising to see Giannis with the Lakers. We played the 8 seed Pistons, who we sweep in that round. Obviously, we have Lamelo Ball, so we should be able to beat the 8 seed. And we play the Boston Celtics, who look similar to what they look like right now in real life, obviously. And Lamelo Ball puts up a 48-point triple-double and loses in the first game. And they take the second game as well, as Lamelo Ball almost puts up 37-point triple-double, and they win the series ultimately, as I simulated the round by accident. And they play the Atlanta Hawks again, who they got swept by, I believe, last time around. Lamelo Ball puts up a 41-point triple-double and wins game 1 and 2, as Brandon Miller really shines in game 2, and Lamelo Ball has a 41-point triple-double to sweep the Atlanta Hawks, and the Hornets are heading to their second finals run in the last 3 years, obviously led by a single-man army in Lamelo Ball, who consistently puts up triple-doubles. And we're on to the finals, in which we lose game 1 against Devin Booker and his 30 points, and we take game 2. And Lamelo Ball in game 2 was excellent, as he had 20 points and 16 assists, and we lose game 3 ultimately. But Lamelo does his part, as we come back with a 20-point performance, I think it was. And the Suns ultimately take the lead in game 5, which is an important game. And we're simulating with Simcast now to see who takes home the 6th game of this series, and it looks like the Hornets run might be ending here, as we're just going to make some adjustments to see if we could potentially win. Just make Lamelo Ball our first scoring option, and no other adjustments besides that. And we were starting to come back, actually, but ultimately we failed to come back, and Devin Booker wins Finals MVP. Is not looking good for Lamelo Ball, as he's coming off of 2 finals losses on his resume now, and he's 0-2, and he's also lost in the Eastern Conference Finals and got swept by the Atlanta Hawks. Obviously, it's not his fault, but he is sometimes not very efficient. But we're just going to continue simming the 5th season of this simulation. And they did not start off too hot, as they were sitting at 22 wins at certain point, with a similar amount of losses to 22. But Lamelo Ball was regressing a little bit, as he was down to 30 points per game from 36 a few seasons ago. But let's just continue simming till the end, as they could still revive their season. And they do exactly that, as they go on to win 52 games, and Lamelo Ball takes his 4th MVP now, it is, I think. And he also takes All-NBA first team. Obviously, I've lost count of how many times he's done that, but we are now the 3rd seed, I believe, playing the 6 seed Pistons, and we take game 1. They take 2. We take 3. They take game 4. We have the advantage as we go on to win game 6. And we're playing the 2nd seed Toronto Raptors, who don't look anything special besides RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes. And they are ultimately taking the first 2 games, but we go on to take game 3. But they have a 3-1 advantage, and we get eliminated in the second round. And it is not looking good for Lamelo Ball at all, as he does not have a single finals win in his resume. And it is the 5th season of this simulation. And now we're heading on to the 6th season. And now Lamelo Ball is entering the end of his prime. And we're just going to continue simulating. And they do not start off the season well, as he is scoring 26 points per game. And I'm just going to change the game plan around and just give Lamelo Ball mad minutes and see what happens. And this season is not it for Lamelo Ball, as they continue to have a losing record for most of the season, honestly. And yeah, it might be time to make a trade at the end of the season. And for the first time in this simulation, the Charlotte Hornets end up having a losing record, which is so surprising. They're not even in the play-in, I think. Yeah. So there's no point of even simulating the play-in because they're not even in it. And we're just going to continue on to the 7th season. And I was trying so hard not to bring in Wembanyama to this roster, but I didn't want to cheat. So we're just going to try to see how this team does. And if they do not start off too hot, which they have not, we're just going to try to make a trade and use our one trade to revive this simulation. And they continue to have a losing record, so it's time to use our one trade and see who's on the trade block. And Paolo Banchero is not untouchable, meaning that we could probably finesse a trade for Paolo Banchero really quickly. And let's just scroll over to see what they want. And Trade Finder blesses us, as they just want Brandon Miller and a 1st round pick for a 28 points per game scorer, and we'll take that any day of the week. And there it is. Paolo Banchero is now a Charlotte Hornet. Let's see if that revives our season. And it ultimately does not. Spoiler alert, as we finish with a losing record. However, Lamelo Ball wins his 4th or 5th MVP of this simulation. So that's a nice individual performance, as we do not even make the playoffs. So we're just going to head on to the next season. And I was so close to ending off the simulation, but we're going to simulate a little bit more, as we are nearing the end of the prime of Lamelo Ball, but we still have Paolo Banchero too. So we're just going to see you at the trade deadline to see what happens. And I decided to just sim all the way, and we were definitely better than last season, as we had a winning record and we were the 3rd seed for most of the run, but it just didn't feel right like the past few finals runs we had. And Lamelo Ball wins his 5th MVP, I think it is. I have lost count. So he's definitely one of the best players of all time in the simulation. But we're only the 3rd seed playing the Wizards again. I swear we played the Wizards before too, and we get eliminated in the 1st round. There is no way. Honestly, in the simulation, Lamelo Ball isn't doing too well in the playoffs, honestly, because he's lost in the finals, and he's lost in the 1st round, 2nd round, even in the 3rd round in the conference finals. So his resume isn't looking too great. And honestly, I'm just going to call it quits there, as Lamelo Ball really fell off a cliff at this season I was trying to simulate. So there's no point of even showing that. And here is his resume: 6-time MVP, a lot of All-Stars and all NBA first teams to his name, but ultimately failed to win the championship. So there's the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please subscribe, and peace out.